sign it.
Oh, sorry.
All right. John there.
John is not here, but Gus is here.
Gus,
So
that's right.
the next thing that we're going to be talking about is redress of grievances, which has been really stomped on. The New Hampshire State Constitution gives citizens of the state of New Hampshire the right to redress, and for the first time in, I don't even know, what was it, a decade? Or no, I mean a century. It was probably about 100 years. There was the Speaker of the House, O'Brien, and a number of Republicans or conservatives reinstated redress of grievances, and there was a committee that was formed for this purpose. And it's for when the government injures us, for whatever reason we are injured, we have the ability to go to the government, to go to our legislator and say, look, I've got a problem, the state has hurt me, and I have the right to redress. And then it's presented to the government, and it has to be looked at. It's been pocketed for years, and now we've lost it again thanks to the current speaker. And this is what you're here to talk about.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for having us here tonight. I really appreciate it, and thanks to the Honorable Senator for bringing so many people out to hear this. My name is Dave Narby. I'm a recent mover to New Hampshire. I'm a liberty activist. I ran for state assembly in the state of New York and helped found a libertarian party in the real belly of the beast, which is down in New York City. Coming to the conclusion that New York was lost, I decided to move here and help keep the great free state of New Hampshire free. During that process, I got introduced to Representative Heichel, who was in Goffstown, who introduced me to Gus Breton, who showed me the power of Article 31 of the New Hampshire Constitution, which is constitutional redress. It basically means that if your government has wronged you, if they have broken the law, you have the right under the New Hampshire Constitution to hold them accountable. Now, the right to redress, unfortunately, at this point, has been blocked. There are petitions piling up which they are sitting on because they do not want us to exercise power over government.
Right.
Our intention is to make redress a campaign issue for this election and for every subsequent one. It's going to be very simple. We're going to contact all the representatives and ask them, are you for or are you against Article 31 of the New Hampshire Constitution? Are you a champion of redress or are you an enemy of redress? We intend for that to be an issue that all of the challengers to the incumbents can then use to beat them about the head and shoulders and get them out of office.
Excellent.
Because there's nothing simpler than having direct responsive government. We should have that through our Constitution, and we intend to restore that. So, anyway, this is Gus, and he'll give us the presentation. Thank you. My name is Gus Breton. I'm from Goffstown. My background's in construction. I was a redress petitioner in 2011, number 28, and Susan was the rep at the time. John Heichel was my sponsor. Marie Miller was also a petitioner, number 10, I think. And this is something we need to get back. I'm going to go through what I put together here for you guys. Our goal is to hold New Hampshire lawgivers accountable to their oaths of office by bringing forward a long history of redress and remonstrance petitions for the purpose of revitalizing the Article 31 redress and grievance process. The reason we want to do this is you guys have been asking Bob Smith a lot of pretty serious questions. A lot of those could be answered with an oath of office violation.
Right.
You know, if you held people accountable to their oaths of office, why do they take these things in the first place?
Right.
If we can't hold them accountable. So if we get rid of bad lawgivers, we get rid of bad laws. So
Right.
if we can figure out how to get rid of them in 30 days, bad lawgivers, get them thrown out of office, then we won't have to worry about bad
That'd be
laws.
awesome. That would be awesome.
So what's the function of government? The function of government is to secure and to protect your property. Webster says that a peculiar quality, this is the definition of property, a peculiar quality of anything, that which is inherent in a subject or naturally essential to it. The exclusive right of possessing, enjoying, and disposing of a thing. So life, liberty, your rights, all your rights, these are all property. What's the purpose of the Constitution? The Constitution is designated as a supreme enactment, a fundamental act of legislation by the people of the state. A constitution is legislation direct from the people acting in their sovereign capacity, while a statute is legislation from their representatives, subject to limitations prescribed by the superior authority. Who's that superior authority?
The people.
That's right. Yikwall versus Hopkins, this is one of the most famous cases that came down from the U.S. Supreme Court in relationship to sovereignty. They said that sovereignty itself is, of course, not subject to law, for it is the author and source of law. But in our system, while sovereign powers are delegated to the agencies of government, sovereignty itself remains with the people, by whom and for whom all government exists and acts. It's not the legislature that sits in that seat, it's the people that sit in that seat.
That's right.
John Locke said, the natural liberty of man is to be free from any superior power on earth, and not to be under the will or legislative authority of man, but only to have the law of nature for his rule. Jefferson said that a free people claim their rights as derived from the law of nature, and not as the gift of their magistrates.
Yeah. That's right.
So what do we do with Eric Holder?
You'd like to boot him out. Wouldn't it be great to get rid of him?
So natural law is inherent, pre-existing, and self-evident. A woman or a man or their property must have been violated for natural law, for a violation of natural law to have taken place. So this has to do with your right to act or not act. Any action which does not cause harm to another man or woman or their property is a right. You have the right to act in that manner. It cannot be legislated away. If we wish to remove bad laws and bad lawgivers, then we must clearly understand how to identify them. We know bad lawgivers are those that pass bad laws.
Yes.
So how do we identify the bad laws? One type of bad law is immoral law. If a man-made law is in opposition to natural law, then it follows logically that it is both false and immoral, or in other words, it is wrong and cannot be legitimately binding upon anyone.
That's pretty clear.
Surprisingly, the other type of bad law is irrelevant and unnecessary law. If a man-made law is in harmony with natural law, then it follows logically that it is redundant, since it is stating a truth that is inherent, pre-existing, and self-evident. In other words, it's just an extra law, it's cumbersome, it just makes more work for attorneys, all right? It needs more interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
So it is also a bad law, not as bad as the first type.
That's also for people who have absolute right.
So if bad laws are those laws that are either in opposition to or in harmony with natural law, then what the heck's the purpose of the legislature?